Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about minimalist style. Minimalist style is something that I tend to put in almost every single one of my designs in some way, shape, or form. It's really one of my favorites, and we're going to get into what minimalist style is, where it originated, and how you can recreate that minimalist style in your home successfully. So minimalism really came on the scene after the Second World War, and it's influenced by Japanese design. So that's why you see a lot of the clean lines, you see the calming neutrals, and so that's really the pinnacle, the highlight of minimalism. So minimalist style is driven by this idea of simple living. Everything has a function, everything has a purpose, as well as looking pleasing to the eye. It's mostly about function, it's about sumptuous comfort, and not being too busy. A successful, minimally styled home is going to look spare, kind of well edited. Everything has a purpose. There's nothing really out of place. And minimalism can be actually kind of tough to pull off because when you have a lot of items in a space, you can kind of hide poor design a little easier than you can with minimalism, where everything really has to have a function, everything has to make sense, and the scale has to be perfect. But if it is well pulled off, it kind of never goes out of style, and it can end up saving you money because you don't have to buy as many items to pull off the minimalist style. The thing that I really like to think of when I am creating a minimalist style space is that it kind of feels like a modern art gallery. There's lots of drama, there's lots of large scale items, but it's clean lines, it's often neutral colors, and often pieces stand alone. So when you think of going into an art gallery, they can have a large sculpture that is on its own. And I would say go for something like that if you were trying to pull off a minimalist style in your home. Think of it as an art gallery. So here are my top tips to creating the minimalist style in your home. First off, declutter and make storage a huge priority. Invest in stylish yet really functional storage that has closed doors, because minimalism is all about not having too many accessories. So if you need items, make sure they're behind closed doors. Next, make your architecture a main focus in your design. So if you don't have great architecture, try to create some. If you're in the ability, the budget to make an arch, or put in some big, beautiful windows, do that. If not, you can always cheat those things by using large artwork, which would make it feel kind of gallery-esque. But if you have great architecture, highlight it and make that your focal point and that the essence of your design. Each element in your space should have a purpose and should have a function. This is not the time to bring out all the little tchotchkes. Is that a word? Tchotchkes. And it's not the time to bring out lots of frou-frou stuff. Like, just stick to the basics, and any decor that you do have in there, make sure it's a killer piece. Nothing less than amazing. I like to stick to 2 or 3 colors when I'm designing a minimalist space. Usually those colors would be paired with neutrals, some beige, taupes, black, brown, grays. But oftentimes those are the colors I go to when I'm creating a minimalist space. If you look up minimalism, they're often going to be in neutrals, but you totally can get away with having color in your space. I would probably recommend more tonal colors, and so that means that they are still like a primary color, but they've added gray to it, and so it makes it more tonal. It makes it read as a neutral, even though it is a color. So for instance, it's like a sage green or a soft mustard yellow. I would go with those types of colors as opposed to bright primary colors in a minimalist space, but rules are meant to be broken, and it's your house. So if you want primary colors in your minimalist home, stick to 2 or 3. Now, this is one that I am really a stickler about in minimalist spaces. You should have high quality decor. it shouldn't be cheap because you're not going to have as much of it, and so you want nothing to be hindered by poor design or poor engineering. It should be high quality if you're going to do minimalist style. And again, with minimalism, I would avoid trendy pieces. Stick to something that's going to stand the test of time, because minimalism really is something, it's not going out of style. There will always be a market for it, and so don't go super trendy. Stick to clean, modern lines that you love, not that's the hottest trend. So minimalism can often feel pretty stark, and so a way to combat that is to bring in lots of texture. Hides, furs, faux furs and hides, lots of nubby textures, leathers, or any sort of like knit pieces. They're really going to bring in that added variety, while you can still keep the color fairly neutral, but adding that texture will make the space more dynamic. I tend to avoid patterns in a minimalist design, but if I am going to add a pattern, it's probably going to be something geometric, and probably something fairly simple with the pattern. I said this before, but each piece should stand alone in your space. So every piece needs to be really killer. Like, don't bring something junky into your minimalist space. And I know I've said that before, but it bears repeating. And don't be afraid of negative space. Negative space is just when you have blank walls. I tend not to over design anything, because negative space is important. It gives your eye a space to rest, and you need that in a design. It creates balance and it creates harmony in your room. So as far as window coverings, keep them pretty simple, keep them neutral. You can really add a sense of drama using floor to ceiling draperies. That is just beautiful, but I would go simple, clean lines, probably not a valance above them, and it's gonna look classic, and it's gonna look great for pretty much until the end of time. Last tip, keep your surfaces as clear as possible. I tend to try to do this no matter what, but it's especially crucial in minimalist design. So I hope that you found these tips helpful. If you do, please like our video, and you can subscribe if we're on YouTube. If we're on Instagram, then just shoot me a comment and let me know what you found helpful, and I'd love to see your pictures of your minimalist styled spaces.